Greetings, everyone. Welcome. This is the Yucca Valley Town Council, Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. Forgive me, it's a little past 6 o'clock. I think it's 6:05, and we're getting a little bit of a late start, but we're getting started. Call to order, please.
Council members Abel.
Here.
Dennison. Here. Droz. Schooler.
Here.
And Mayor Lombardo.
Here. We're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing afterwards. And Wanda Statham is going to lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, Mayor Lombardo. You place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're going to have Chaplain Grumpy Keller come up and help us out. Thank you.
Good evening. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord, and we thank you for everything you give us, Lord. We just lift this meeting and we lift the future meetings to you of this town council, Lord, as they give of themselves to make Yucca Valley a better place. In Matthew 20:25 through 28, Jesus tells his disciples that leaders should not exercise authority over people. Instead, whoever wants to become great must lower themselves to be a servant. Leaders realize that serving others is the only way to lead with a pure heart, free of pride and arrogance. So, Lord, we just lift this council to you, Lord, and as they lead Yucca Valley into the future and they make decisions that will affect Yucca for years to come, I ask that they look to you for wisdom and guidance. And this I pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Grumpy. All right. So today we have some presentations, some introductions, and some recognitions, and we're going to start with a proclamation, Child Abuse Awareness Month from the County of San Bernardino. And let me read the proclamation. Presented to San Bernardino County Children's Network. Whereas all children have the right to receive care, protection, and guidance a family provides, to be free from harm, and to have their physical, emotional, and educational needs met. And the town of Yucca Valley recognizes the importance of promoting community involvement in the prevention of child abuse. And whereas, with the blue ribbon as the international symbol for child abuse prevention, the San Bernardino County Children's Network is conducting significant outreach activities and events during the month of April to increase awareness of child abuse. Now, therefore, I, Robert Lombardo, Mayor of the town of Yucca Valley, on behalf of the entire town council, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the town of Yucca Valley, and encourage citizens, organizations, schools, nonprofits, and businesses in the community to engage in activities and events that assist in the effort to prevent child abuse and provide for children's physical, emotional, and developmental needs. Presented this second day of April 2024. And we want to present that. Did you tell me that they were online for the presentation?
We were expecting them online, but we're not seeing anybody there.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we're going to be moving on. Yucca Valley Chamber of Commerce update. Wanda, will you return to the podium and let us know what you have going on?
Thank you, Mayor Lombardo and Town Council and all the esteemed members that are here tonight. With me is our Chairman of the Board of Directors, Tanya Chu. She's the Community Outreach Specialist for Desert Arc, and we're really thrilled to have her as our president or chairman of the board this year. She'll be serving a second year as well. This is her first town council meeting, so she said she didn't want to talk this time. And I'm Wanda Statham, president and CEO of the Yucca Valley Chamber of Commerce, and I'm really excited about this year's Grub Steak Days because we have some new things in store. Okay, the poster. This poster represents 3 days of a lot of fun coming up for the community. We are going to take Thursday off, which we usually had our kickoff mixer on Thursday. Why have it on a Thursday? Let's have it on a Friday night, so we don't have to get up early on Saturday. So the Elks Lodge is back on track, and they are going to do our kickoff mixer Friday evening, May 24th. And in that morning, ahead of time, we're going to have our Grub Stake Chamber Golf Challenge, starting at Hawks Landing, 8 a.m. start, and the town always has a really great team together. We're looking forward to having you again as one of our tournament sponsors. Saturday, May 25th, we have shown interest in and have gotten permission to use all of Brim Youth Sports Park as well as the Boys and Girls Club. And at this event, during the 6-hour event, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we are going to have tug-of-wars, adult water slides, oh whoopee, jumpers for the kids, a mechanical bull, games, miniature golf, food trucks, grub stake vendors, a dunk tank, a car and motorcycle show. We have 3 car clubs in the high desert that have already committed and 2 motorcycles clubs. A horseshoe tournament and beard contest. At noon, we're going to have the Little Mr. and Miss Minor personality contest, which is something that's always a real treat at the Boys and Girls Club outdoors. And the winners of that contest, the Little Mr. and Mr. Minor, are going to be the Grand Marshals for the first ever Little Wagon Parade. And we are going to have the community get together and bring their decorated wagons. We have 6 categories for decorating your wagons. They'll be able to parade through Brim Youth Sports Park and around the Little League, the Miracle League field. And the public will be able to choose their People's Choice Award. Each wagon will be judged on their theme that they entered their wagon. We are planning to have displays put on by the military. Marine Corps Base is going to join us, San Bernardino County Fire and the Sheriff's Department. Basin Transit is going to bring down one of their brand new buses so people can actually get on the bus and see what's inside. I may have to ride one of those one of these days, so I'm looking forward to getting on the bus. Morongo Basin Ambulance will also have a representative there, and Morongo Basin Healthcare District is bringing their beautiful large community van that they have, and the Certified Emergency Response Team will be there representing assistance to the fire department. We're going to have an exotic petting zoo there, like something you've never seen before. Miniature zebras, beautiful boros, alpacas that are just spotlessly clean, plus camels. We are going to have camel rides at this year's Grub Stake Days. These camels come from the Giddy Up Ranch, and these wonderful people decorate their camels and groom them beautifully. You are going to be very, very surprised at how wonderful this event will work out. From 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., we'll have Sterling Silver Live Band, and 2 to 4 p.m., Joni and the Boomers. So there'll be music going on all day long at this event at Brim Youth Sports Park and the Boys and Girls Club. And then Sunday, May 26th, we've got planned the Go for Gold Grub Stakes Days run. That's the 10K, 5K, 2K walk, sponsored by none other than the town of Yucca Valley, which will start at Yucca Valley High School. And then at noon, up in Pioneer Town, the Pony Express ride will arrive with postcards that have been pre-stamped, and will get a commemorative cancellation stamp approved by the U.S. Post Office on all mail that goes through that post office for 1 month. Once June 30th hits, they destroy that commemorative cancellation stamp, and your piece of mail that you sent on the Pony Express ride becomes a collectible. This will be close to the 25th year that the Pony Express ride has been a success up in that area. Friends of Pioneer Town are going to have a bake-off. The Wild West reenactors will be up there trying to rob the Pony Express, and there'll be live music and food trucks. So this is an event you don't want to miss. Grub Stake Days. Yes. We do our little dance here. Notice we dressed alike. Color coordinated today. We have another event that we have to attend, so we're going to sit for and enjoy seeing the new employees being inducted and welcomed, and then we'll excuse ourselves from the meeting. And I'll be back with some slides and some more information at your next town council meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, both of you. That was wonderful. I love your enthusiasm. Next, we have introduction of new employees.
Mayor and Council, I'd like to invite Nathan and Ryan to join me up front, please. Mayor and Council, it's always a pleasure to stand before you and introduce new members of the town's team. This evening, we're introducing to the council and the community 2 new members in the animal care and control operation. Nathan Lopez and Ryan Gordon are the newest additions to the town's team at the shelter. For those of you that visit the shelter, these gentlemen are going to be assisting you in adopting that pet, giving that pet its new forever home. They enjoy those types of activities and functions, and it's a pleasure to have them. Nathan comes to us with probably in the neighborhood of 6 years of customer service background, is going to fit in extremely well. Ryan comes to us with a history of 5 years in the United States Marine Corps. Ryan and his family reside in 29 Palms, and Nathan and his family reside in Yucca Valley. It's a great pleasure to stand here this evening and introduce the new members of the town team to the council and the community. So welcome on board, gentlemen. We always give them a chance if they'd like to say words. I think we'll be back at some point in the future and they'll have a little more to say.
Okay, it's always a little intimidating right off the bat, but welcome, and we're sure you'll fit right in. We're looking forward to working with you. Let's have the approval of the agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to approve tonight's agenda as prepared.
Mayor, I'll second.
Council members Abel,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Schooler,
Yes.
and Mayor Lombardo.
Yes. All righty, so moving on to consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine matters for formal documents covering previous town council instructions. Items are enacted by one motion and a second without separate discussion unless members of the town council or town staff request dialogue on a specific item at the beginning of the meeting. Requests for public comments on the consent agenda items should be filed with the town clerk. Is there anybody wishing to comment on the consent agenda items? Do we have anything that we want to discuss or pull?
Mayor, I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
All second?
We have approval in a second.
Council members Abel,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Schooler,
Yes.
and Mayor Lombardo.
Yes. All right, and that was items 4 through 8. We are now on item number 9, department reports. Resolution budget amendment appropriating $250,000 from Measure Y Fund 801 and $2,686,699 from Fund 800 Capital Projects Reserve for Town Project Number 9101, Old Town Beautification Sustainability Project Phase 1, Award of Construction Contract. I want to go through that.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item before you tonight is the Old Town Beautification Sustainability Project Phase 1, and this is an item for the award of construction contract. The recommendation before you tonight that is the Town Council adopt the resolution amending the fiscal year 23-24 Special Revenue Fund budget appropriating $250,000 from Measure Y, Fund 801, as interfund transfer to Capital Projects Reserves Fund 800, and $2,686,699 from Fund 800 Capital Projects Reserved for a total budget amount of about $3,250,000. The second recommendation is that the Town Council approve the award of a construction contract with IE General Engineering, Inc. in the amount of $2,492,145 to construct the Old Town Beautification and Sustainability Project Phase 1. Authorize construction contingency, and inspection costs in the total amount of $2,250,000 $750,000, and authorize the mayor, town manager, and town attorney to execute the agreement and authorize the town manager or designee to expend contingency fund if necessary for project completion. So prior review of this item, that is back in March 7 of 2003, the town council adopted resolution 23-04 approving an application to be submitted for the Clean California Local Grant Program for the Old Town Beautification and Sustainability Project. In May 30 of 2023, the town council awarded a contract for professional design services for RHA Landscape Architects, Planners, Inc., for the design and preparation of the bid-ready construction documents in the amount of $171,810, and amended the 22-23 Special Revenue Fund budget by allocating $200,000 from Capital Project Reserve Fund 800 to the project number 9101. November 7 of 2023, the town council authorized the purchase and installation of one prefabricated restroom from Public Restroom Company in the amount of $994,409, and authorized amended the 23-24 Special Revenue Fund budget by allocating $300,000 from Capital Project Reserve Fund 800 to project number 9101, Old Town Beautification. In January 16 of 2024, the Town Council adopted resolution number 24-01, approving plans, specification, and estimates for the construction, and authorized the town clerk to advertise and receive bids. In March 5th of 2024, the Town Council rejected the bids for the Old Town Beautification and Sustainability Project Phase 1, Town Project number 9101, and adopted Resolution 24-05, and authorized the town clerk to re-advertise and receive bids. As you can see, this is the Old Town Beautification Project that will transform a vacant lot into a beautiful public gathering and recreation space that will support community cohesion and local economic development in the Old Town part of Yucca Valley. This parking area will use sustainability and innovative features to make this location a point of pride in the town. Phase 1 of the project will consist of building a parking lot to accommodate approximately 97 vehicles, 4 electric vehicle charging station, which is a dual, so that will be 8 cars to be charged, a restroom, and shade structure and lighting. And also the project will also include the improvement of Elk Drive between 29 Palms and Yucca Trail. This is phase 1 of a bigger phase, this is the final product of this project. So we will come back in a while, to phase them, which one the next phase will be. It will be including other parking areas and other improvement into that area. So we opened the bids on March 21st, 2024, and we received 4 bids as follows. The IE General Engineering, Inc. was at the lowest bidder at $2,492,145. CS Legacy Construction, Inc. came up at $2,966,764. Universal Construction and Engineering came up at $3,018,991, and Urban Habitat came up at $3,444,664.59. So the town has reviewed the bid packages and confirmed that IE General Engineering, Inc. of Pullman, California, is the lowest responsible and responsive bidder with a total bid amount of $2,492,145. And if awarded by the mayor and the council tonight, construction work will anticipate to begin in June of 2024 and to be completed by November of 2024. So this is the finance that we have with the project. The total project cost estimated as, the construction bid amount came at $2,492,145. we're asking for a construction contingency of $227,855, and engineering and inspection of $30,000, and the restroom facility cost us $294,409. The design cost us $171,810, and there's miscellaneous, expenses for Edison and other utilities at about $1,000. The project cost construction estimated, as we can see, as to about $2,750,000. So the recommendation before you tonight is adopt the resolution amending the 23-24 special revenue fund budget appropriation $250,000 from Measure Y, Fund 801 as an interfund transfer to Capital Project Reserve Fund 800, and $2,686,699 from Fund 800 Capital Projects Reserve as identified in Exhibit A of the total budget amount of $3,250,000. Approve the award of the construction contract with IE General Engineering, Inc. in the amount of $2,492,145 to construct the project. Authorize construction and construction contingency and inspection costs in the amount of $2,750,000, and authorize the mayor, town manager, and town attorney to execute the agreement, and authorize the town manager or designee to expend the contingency fund if necessary, project completion. That concludes staff report, and we'll be more than happy to answer any question following public comments.
Great. Is there anybody in the public that would like to comment on this construction project? Is there anybody online? Okay, this is going to be a great addition to our Old Town area. I'm surprised that we don't have much representation from that area to come and say how, but moving on. Anybody in the council want to talk about it?
Quickly, I'd just like to say that for those that don't know, this project has been going on, it'll be 4 years if the timeline's successful and finishes in November of '24. So we had council discussion with staff and the public starting in 2020. November 17th. So I think this has been a pretty good journey. It was something that was really made possible by the town itself and Measure Y and the funding allocation that we're doing during this process tonight of $250,000 in addition to complete this project to get us through the first phase. So I'm very thankful to the community for all the work that we've done with them. And I'm looking forward to seeing it too. I think it'll be a great benefit for the west end of town to create another social gathering spot. And we're hoping to have some kind of monument there where people can actually take pictures too to recognize that they're in the town of Yucca Valley. So I'm very proud of all the work. It wasn't easy. It took 4 years. We had that one event that happened worldwide there in the middle of it. So it did drag us down a little bit. But once again, what great progress. And I'm looking forward to the completion.
Great.
I agree with Councilmember Dennison. It's a much-needed project. I think it's going to be a real boost to the Old Town area and to the town as a whole. Been really looking forward to this happening. I'm really excited that we're able to pull the trigger on it at this point, and maybe look forward to our annual Christmas tree lighting at that facility this year.
Sounds good.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, staff, for all the hard work and putting this together. Thank you for your wisdom in rejecting the earlier bids and putting it out to bid. I really, really appreciate the quality of the applicants that came through on the second time and being able to vet the process and so forth. I'm not sure how long it takes to do the figuring out the budget and how much money it should cost for a project like this. But just in case you get stuck on time, I asked my wife, hey, we just got the approval for the downtown parking facility, and this includes this, and this. I go, what do you think it came in at? And she took about 10 seconds and said, about $3 million. I said, that's great. I said, I'll let Alex know if you ever need to, do some bids for us in 15 seconds, or 10 seconds. Yeah, she comes at a very reasonable rate. So just make sure you ask her. But for anybody in the public, this is a fantastic project. This is exactly what Measure Y should be doing, is reinvesting in our community. And for people who just think, man, a $3 million project, that sounds really, really expensive. Yes, it is, and no, it's not, because when you talk about the sidewalk improvements, the curb, the electricity, all the utilities that come into that, the charging stations, the bathrooms, the shade, the landscape, I mean, it just goes on, and it's quite a large area. And these kinds of projects I get excited about because we're going to get a return on our investment, because we support small business. We support our downtown area, and we are going to see that come back to our community, back to our taxpayers in tax increases with people spending here locally. So giving people a convenient place to stop and park and get out, we're competing. We're competing for those tourism dollars. And when they find and see a really great parking facility downtown centrally located where they may have driven by before, they're going to stop and park. And once they park, they're going to go and look at these wonderful shops by our local merchants, and it's going to be turning into tax revenue dollars for us. So thank you for all the people in all the public support for our Measure Y funding, and I'm really excited to see this project take flight, and to be done perhaps by the end of this calendar year will be fantastic.
Great. All right. I just want to say, yes, it's really important what Measure Y has done for us and allowing us to do things like this. It's important that the public is aware that Measure Y funds are being used for improvements in the style, in our living lifestyle, that sort of thing. And we're going to want to be renewing the Measure Y in the future here, so it's important to know what it does. I would like to have a motion to approve that and adopt the resolution and approve the award of contract and authorize construction.
Is that one motion to cover all of it? Okay, Mayor, I'll move the item.
Okay. And Dennison will second. And I'll third it. No.
It's
Council-
It's been a long time in coming, and we're happy to see it happening. So please vote.
Councilmember Zabel,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Schooler,
Yes.
and Mayor Lombardo.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, very good. And we're now on to Interagency Council on Homelessness and Homeless Service Update. Oh, what? I thought it was Deb. No.
Mayor, Council, wanted to spend just a few minutes giving the council and the community an update on a couple of the different activities that we have. One of my goals today is to try and demystify some of the acronyms that we always use on this stuff, so you'll see some definitions throughout the presentation. This picture here, I think, is, I'll talk a little bit about it more in the presentation, but is an actual homeless encampment that we came across in the latest point in time count. Does the council have this on your radar? Yes, you do. You have this as part of your fiscal year 24 through 26 adopted strategic plan, action plan. Number 20 there, identify needs, resources, effective delivery of assistance to the unsheltered and unhoused through continued coordination with county and nonprofit partners, and we'll talk about that and the ways that we're doing that moving forward. Some of the current activities that the town is involved in, we have active participation as a board member on the Interagency Council of Homelessness, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We also coordinate the activities of the East Valley Regional Steering Committee. So throughout the county, there are 4 or 5 different regions that make recommendations in the general geographic areas as defined. And so our area is the Morongo Basin out east to the Needles area. And this regional steering committee is instrumental in not only keeping contact with the nonprofit providers, but also coordinating recommendations that go back to the Interagency Council on Homelessness for final action. Council mentioned Measure Y a number of times already this evening. This is another area in your quality of life that has been used to allocate funds, whether it's to our nonprofit providers such as Morongo Basin Arch or others. That's a resource that we identify for homelessness and the related services. Town also takes a prominent role in the point-in-time count coordination. Deborah's been doing that for a number of years. This year I had the opportunity to kind of be boots on the ground. I know Councilmember Dennison was there on that day as well, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail in a minute. And then coordination with our partners. These are partners, whether it's our HOPE team with the county sheriff, whether it's with our county partners at the Office of Homeless Services, OHS, or other nonprofit partners throughout the basin. We have a number of them that provide services. We try and stay in touch and leverage the collective resources of all of the agencies to reach those that are in need. Just as an example of the representation on the Interagency Council of Homelessness, you can see the different board members and the member representation that they are providing. So the Board of Supervisors has 2 active members, Supervisor Baca and one of the other designees, Mayor Warren from Fontana, then city elected officials, Rancho, City of San Bernardino, the town, City of Barstow, then the mountain region is in that list. Moving on, there's a number of county staff, and then the HPN, which stands for Homeless Provider Network. That is most of the nonprofits that are also represented on the Interagency Council of Homelessness. So I know that Councilmember Schooler and Councilmember Droz had opportunities at different times to serve on this, and it can be overwhelming at times just in the scope, and I guess sometimes it feels like the organization moves relatively slowly, but there are decisions that are made that ultimately affect our area, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to spend just a few minutes going through the point in time count that was completed in January of this year. For the Morongo Basin, it's important to remember that I put it in green here. The information gathered in the point in time count is ultimately used in the formulation of federal resources allocation, basically money. So this is how the money gets allocated back based on the need. The need is defined by the point in time. Now, we can have conversations whether that's the right metric to use. I think many of us in the area where we see active homeless populations may think that point in time probably doesn't really capture it accurately. But this is the best tool that we have, and it's the tool that the federal government requires. So that's what we're doing. This year we had 35 trained volunteers. It's important to understand that we don't just take people and throw them out there and ask them to go count. There's actually a training process that the county is very diligent on, provides training on how to engage, what to do, how to do it safely, what technology to use, and all of that training ultimately is taken up by the volunteers. And then they meet, and we went out and did that point in time count on that day in January. Covered everywhere from Morongo Valley all the way out to Wonder Valley, and then north and south a little bit as well. In that count, we provided resources and information to contacts, and then real-time data location. We have a mobile app that is used as the contact is made with the individuals. We take down, it's scripted information that is provided by the federal government and ultimately the county in that app, and it's an Esri app that pinpoints specific location. That data goes back real time into a data warehouse, if you will, that the county operates on that day. The data is then scrubbed and checked for duplications, et cetera, to try and get as accurate of a count as possible. Some of the pictures here that I took that morning, you can see there again, this one is out in Joshua Tree. If you, I guess you might be surprised, but it's literally maybe 150 yards off of Highway 62, just out in the desert. Came across a handful of other tents in that same location. This one was a pretty good size encampment. This picture shows the partner that I had. We go out in teams, and the partner that I had, we wear these lime green vests, and we engage with the individuals, ask them if it's okay if they participate, give them a bag of needs, goodies, as well as resources, and then we go through each individual on the questions to try and find out information that they're willing to give. For this year, our preliminary numbers, these are not final, but the preliminary numbers reflected a count that was similar to what we had last year in 2023. We expect it to be in the range of 65 to 85 homeless in Yucca Valley. That's only Yucca Valley. There's more if you count the entire Morongo Basin. We expect the numbers to be released in May. Final numbers, and then a similar activity occurred countywide. And I thought it would be helpful to show a quick video of the efforts that went across the county and the different participation that we had throughout that. So if we could bring that video up, that'd be great.
Today I'm here doing the point-in-time count, which is a one-day survey of all of our unsheltered, unhoused individuals that are out living in our communities.
It's actually a time that we take every year to count those in our community who are homeless so that we can apply resources to those areas and get a better idea of how many are actually out there.
With this data, we can begin to identify some of the key problems, whether it's chronic homeless veterans, families, substance use, mental health. All these challenges can be identified during the point-in-time count.
It's important for us to get an accurate count for San Bernardino County. Now it's going to be a lot of analytics after it's done for us to be able to deploy resources in the right areas.
But the real true importance of it is understanding your community, understand the populations that are being impacted, but also how we need to mobilize our resources so that we can provide assistance and support to our community in a more effective way.
It's an opportunity for many of our departments and the community to actually come together and work together on improving the quality of life in our county.
Today we partner with our cities, our law enforcement, civil servants, our faith-based organizations, educational institutions, and so many more.
And all these providers are working together so that we can not only provide the stability for someone by giving them emergency shelter and ensure that we're giving them the best opportunity for success.
The point-in-time count is not just a statistical number, it is truly the human stories, and that's important.
I've been homeless for 2 years now. And I'm always in the dirt digging, so it's like I don't even have a mirror long enough to look at myself and pull yourself together.
I think that there's a lot of assumptions and preconceived notions about unhoused individuals out there, but when you come out here and you speak with some of these individuals, you get a more realistic picture of who they are.
It's families, working people. I just met this Marine. He showed me where he got shot and stuff. What's important to me is that guy living there with his family in their cars.
There's a great effort towards utilizing the different needs of the community and getting that feedback and information from those individuals who are displaced. What we did today was that we had a 2-bedroom house ready for someone to move into. We're working with a family, and if they make the selection, they'll literally go from streets into a house in the same day. That was an effort that only happened because we put all of these individuals in a room together.
We just can't do this on our own. A huge thank you to all of the 249 county employees who have volunteered to participate in the 2024 point-in-time count.
Terrific, thank you. So hopefully that just shows the scope of the activity that occurs in the point-in-time count. And there was some talk initially last year that maybe this goes into a every 2-year count, but I think most of the providers would like this to continue annually and just to make sure that we have boots on the ground. So what does the point-in-time count mean in terms of how does it come back to the basin? We'll talk about that. ICH stands for the Interagency Council on Homelessness. This is the countywide policy-making body that kind of coordinates both the governmental side as well as the nonprofit providers, brings them together on an elected board to be able to make decisions primarily related to, at the end of the day, funding. So, for example, one of the main sources of funding is the Homeless Housing Assistance and Prevention Funding, HAP funding. This is up to round 5. We have round 1, 2, and 3 that have been identified and allocated. Round 4 is identified what the amount will be, but we don't know what the partners are going to get yet, including our basin. And then round 5 is in the state budget. It has been committed at this point, even with the budget deficit that the state is facing. So those funds are expected to come in. For our area, the award in all 3 of the HAP rounds went to Morongo Basin Arch. Morongo Basin Arch is a nonprofit organization here that is run by Astrid Johnson and a number of other board members. ARCH stands for Aligning Resources Challenges Homelessness. That's the name of their organization. In round 1, they got $265,000. Round 2, $131,000. Round 3, $162,000. What are they using that for? Services provided range anything from case management, eviction prevention, emergency shelter, rapid rehousing, food and supplies, outreach and coordination. I was having a conversation this morning with Councilmember Dennison, and one of the things that was brought up was, is there a way that the individuals that have to use this system, is there a way that it's coordinated? And the short answer is yes. And that is what's called the CES, or Coordinated Entry System. So every individual that Morongo Basin Arch provides resources for goes into what's called a Coordinated Entry System that basically tracks that individual. The captain will know this, that through the HOPE team, for example, one of their statistics that they give us is it may take an individual anywhere from 8 to 12 times of engagement before they're willing to take services. And so one of the keys there is that as individuals get service, it needs to be a coordinated fashion so that you know what part of the system that they're in, that ultimately, for example, if they need mental health treatment or they need drug treatment, they are able to go out and get those services through maybe a different provider than, say, Morongo Basin Arch. It's important. We have $560,000 in local resources that have been provided. Morongo Basin Arch serves 29 Palms, unincorporated county, as well as Yucca Valley. Future activities that we're moving toward, again, greater awareness for our population, our homeless or unhoused population, of the services that are provided. We'll continue through the point-in-time count and our participation with ICH to advocate for equitable funding for our basin. It's important. We continue with engagement with our partners. Those partners can be the Sheriff's HOPE team, it can be the Office of Homeless Services, our county partners. And that's really what I've identified in that 4th bullet point, is that I think collectively we understand that one of the shortcomings that we have here in the basin is that we don't have an overnight shelter anywhere in the basin. We do have alternatives to that, for example, Morongo Basin Arch has been able to provide emergency shelter, whether that's through a hotel room for any number of nights, but we don't have an overnight shelter that we can direct individuals to. The town at this point doesn't have the bandwidth nor the resources to provide that. And so one of our conversations with the Office of Homeless Services is there a regional model that we can work with county on that may be one location here in the basin that then the town and the city help fund through dollars, but is leveraged through the collaboration with all 3 agencies. And then ultimately, continued allocation of town funding through Measure Y, pending reauthorization. So wanted to just give you an overview of kind of where we're at, what we're doing as a community. We recognize the need. We hope that these are services that people can take and take advantage of. And we would be remiss if we didn't identify and thank all of the nonprofit partners that we have in this community as well, whether it's faith-based churches that go out and do this on their own. We have social services that are under contract with the county, and we have a number of other nonprofits that are active in this each and every day, trying to help the people in this town and in this basin. Conclude staff report, Mayor, and be happy to answer any questions after public comment.
Okay. Is there anybody in the public wishing to comment on the homeless update? Anybody online? No? Okay, back to the council. Receive and file, or?
No, I appreciate the update. It's a problem that's not unique to the Morongo Basin or here. It's all over the state and probably all over the country. And I think we run into people that are a little impatient and say, okay, what's being done? Well, there's a lot being done, and it's very impressive, my exposure to ICH and to the East Valley Regional Group. I think just up here, there's 30-plus agencies, it seems like, that between the faith-based groups and governmental groups and so forth that they're doing something to address the problem. And it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. There's a lot of components to it. Really appreciate the efforts that everybody's putting in, and I'm kind of proud of the town's role in it too, for taking the lead in so many ways. So appreciate the report. Just look forward to next steps on it.
Okay. Comment? No? Thank you for your efforts on that. All right, so receive and file. Number 11, professional services agreement between the town of Yucca Valley and PlaceWorks, California Environmental Quality Act Review, Community Center Athletic Facility Master Plan.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The recommendation before you this evening is that the Town Council authorizes the Town Manager to execute an agreement between the Town of Yucca Valley and PlaceWorks for environmental services under the California Environmental Quality Act for the Community Center Athletic Facility Master Plan in the amount not to exceed $119,887. The town, just like private land developers, are required to complete CEQA analysis for all projects prior to making a commitment to those projects, and that includes the town's community center athletic facility. As part of that process, PlaceWorks has provided a proposal, scope of services, and a cost estimate to complete that CEQA document. In addition to the CEQA work, it also includes the necessary efforts for obtaining an incidental take permit from the State Department of Fish and Wildlife, as there are protected species of the western Joshua tree on the site. That incidental take permit will be necessary in order to implement the project. The deliverables under this contract are outlined on pages 181 through 185 of your staff report this evening, and those range from everything from air quality and greenhouse gas analysis, noise and vibration, traffic, hydrology, biological resources, etc. All of those matters that you typically see in a CEQA document. Again, the recommended action this evening is to authorize the town manager to execute the agreement between the town and PlaceWorks for those CEQA services in the amount not to exceed $119,887. That concludes the staff presentation. Be happy to answer questions following public comment.
Is there any public comment on the CEQA for the professional services agreement between the town and the, no, nothing online. Quiet night. Okay, so any comments from, pretty much it's got to get done. You got a comment? Go ahead.
Yeah, just one question. And I thank you. I'm thankful for PlaceWorks for something that's so detailed that it's actually a fairly easy read the way that it's categorized for the community to understand what our responsibilities are. On the schedule portion of the proposal, they've placed a sample schedule. And I was wondering if we're pretty close to that schedule. Is that what we're looking to consider if we were to move forward?
So when you have a proposal commonly for a mitigated negative declaration, which includes the time necessary to prepare the reports, the technical studies that go with that M&D, a 6-month window is a very common window to look at. So right now we are on schedule. That meets the schedule for construction implementation as well as grant requirements.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Well, with that, if you'd like, Mayor, I'd like to move the item forward as presented.
All righty. And I'll second. And we'll move that forward. Let's take a vote.
Council members Abel,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Schooler,
Yes.
and Mayor Lombardo.
Yes. All righty. We are now into future agenda items. Is there any future agenda items? Okay. Public comment. The town council takes this time to consider your comments on items of concern which are not on the agenda. When you are called to speak, please state your name and community of residence. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Inappropriate behavior which disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting will result in the forfeiture of your public comment privilege. The town council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussion items not on the printed agenda. So, is there anybody in the public wishing to take this 3-minute opportunity to talk about anything? Tell us your ideas, your thoughts. Please come to the podium, state your name and city of residence. We would like you to fill out a little form after with the clerk so we know who you are and what your comment was about.
So, Bob, the speaker is requested to be off camera. Also, so AV staff, if you could turn our little camera around. So our first speaker is Derek Dennis, followed by Mary Dennis.
My name's Derek Dennis, and I live in Yucca Valley. I'm not sure that this is the appropriate meeting to bring it up, but I just want to bring it up to the town's attention that we have an illegal wedding venue that's come up behind our house. They bought a church, and we've been kind of battling it for the past 3 or 4 years, that back and forth, like with code enforcement and the sheriff's department, that they claim they were a church and they could hold weddings and do these things, but they're just strictly a wedding venue. Like, they do catering, they have bars, like they have 400 or 500 people, like they have stadium, like outside stadium, like megaphone speakers, like it's pretty wild. And we've had to deal with it for the past few years. Like, it started out slow, like they were a little quiet, and they did some flea markets, and they did like a couple of weddings that were quiet, so they kind of snuck it in there. And then all of a sudden, like 2 years ago, they started doing them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every week, like from 2 in the afternoon to 10 o'clock at night. And so, like, we've been dealing with that and we started with the sheriff's department, and they said there's nothing they could do. And honestly, I know they got sick of coming out. Like, I'm just an angry neighbor. And so they diverted us to code enforcement, and then code enforcement wouldn't come out because they weren't doing anything during the week that they're in operation. So we couldn't get them to come out Friday or Saturday, like, to see the weddings. And eventually they started taking notice to it, and they came out and they shut it down, like on minor infractions, like stuff they had to upgrade to have that kind of stuff there at the facility, and then they had to apply for permitting. So I know that this place, it's called the Tumbleweed Ranch. They're applying for like a venue permit, but I'm not, like, we're just not sure what to do about it or where to go with it. And we're just trying to bring it up with the city, like, so that we can do something about not having this place be an open wedding venue. Like, we have other neighbors that are greatly concerned. Like, it gets pretty wild. They bring buses in. Like, it's just not an appropriate place to just have a full-on wedding venue, like, in general. And so that's what I'm bringing up, that I just oppose this place. And if they're applying through permitting through the city, if someone could look into it deeper, or planning commission, like I know they have something with the planning commission going. And like, we're also worried that they're trying to push to have their property zoned as commercial, and it is dead center, like in a residential neighborhood. So like, we're really concerned with that because they own more property and what they're going to do with it.
Thank you for your comments.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Did you want to speak also?
She said basically the same.
I don't really have much to say. Oh, sorry. My name is Mary Dennis, and I live in Yucca Valley. And we live directly behind this place. We share a fence. So I don't have much else to say other than it just disrupts the peace in our home. This happens between 8:30, 10 o'clock at night when we're getting ready for bed. You can hear what they claim is them turning the music down and going inside and being quiet. But them doing that, it has made the sound echo. And what you hear is now like bass, like it's kind of like a nightclub party. And so in my home, around 8:30, 9:30, I'm like waiting for this sound to go off so that I can basically be comfortable. Yeah. And we're here because, to our understanding, we were supposed to be notified and then come to these meetings. We haven't been notified by the town, so we're just here to hopefully find out and take the next steps as what to do. And that's pretty much it. I've gone around the neighborhood and spoke to several of the closer places, and they all have said, yeah, we can hear the music. Some have said they're not concerned, but yes, we can hear the music, and our room is over here, and I can understand that you're right next to it, and if it's loud here, well, then it must be extremely loud here. Currently, the office manager has went around our neighborhood and invited us there for town reasons, I believe. She says that it's in the best interest of the town that it's recommended that she do this, and that they have planned to submit a permit of some kind. Again, I'm not sure and I don't understand. So, but that they plan to submit and that we should be notified within a couple days. This was last week. So that's why we're here. I don't want to miss something that we can speak on or oppose. So thanks.
All right.
I have a
Thank you for your
quick question. Have they been active in the last month?
No, because they were shut down.
Okay, so
they're
this isn't going on right now presently, but it's in the past it has.
actively, they're trying to reopen.
Yeah, I understand that, but they're not actively doing it right now.
No,
Okay,
they
thank
haven't
you.
had any.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Quickly, Mary, has Derek and yourself, have you left your contact information with the clerk?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Is there anybody else in the public wishing to speak? Is there anybody online? All righty then. Moving on, staff reports and comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple this evening. Chief Villarino, good to see you this evening. I had the opportunity to meet with the chief this afternoon, and we may have some future updates for the council moving forward, so stay tuned for that. With that, Captain, do you have anything this evening?
Nothing this evening.
All right, Deborah or Alex?
Wow.
Great, Shane?
Quiet night.
Mayor and Council, just two quick items. Next Tuesday's Planning Commission meeting, the commission will be holding its second discussion on one of the town council's recent requests, and that is to have discussions on the standards or requirements for business expansion. That occurs under the town council's adopted regulations of land use compliance review. Commission has held one public meeting on that. They're holding their next public meeting next Tuesday at the regular planning commission meeting. In regards to the public comments this evening, very briefly, Tumbleweed has submitted a conditional use application to reactivate activities at that site. It's currently under staff review. Notices will be sent out when the matter has been scheduled for public hearing before the Yucca Valley Planning Commission. It has not been scheduled as of today for any Planning Commission hearings, possibly the month of May. We have the contact information. We'll make sure that is communicated when those schedules are moving forward. Those are my only items this evening, Mayor and Council.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for that, Shane. Appreciate it. Mayor, thank you for your participation at our annual Easter egg hunt in the rain and all. Hopefully you had your poncho or your umbrella. We appreciate that. Super exciting event. It was short, and then we had the Easter Bunny move into indoor area for pictures in a little bit more comfortable setting. And then we just want to let you know that the Metamorphosis art exhibit at the High Desert Nature Museum opened about a week ago. We had our reception on Friday, and so that went off pretty well. Some interesting pieces there, so if you have a minute, it may be wise to pop in and take advantage of that.
Very nice.
I think that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Councilmember Abel, do you have any comments?
Yeah, the report of what's been going on. So March 23rd, Saturday, I was able to participate in the Healthy Hearts Run. It was well attended, so I thought it was a fantastic facility. A little cold and windy, but we have no control over the weather. But again, the staff did an excellent job. I saw a lot of improvements in the race, and a lot of participants stayed to the very end for the award ceremony. So overall, it was a great experience. I couldn't beat the 3 young bucks in front of me, but I came in 4th, so I'm pretty happy about that. On Monday, March 25th, I attended the Mojave Desert Air Quality Management meeting, where we were able to present a TAG grant check to the Mojave Northern Railroad Company for $2.475 million. So over $2 million given to them to replace one of the diesel-powered locomotives for an electric alternative. So that was a TAG grant that was provided to them through the Air Quality District, and they were really thrilled to receive it. And it's just one of replacements that we're going to be doing for more railroads in that area to help with the air quality. We also passed some emergency measures. If carbon numbers get way too high, which isn't looking like that's going to ever happen, but we have to have some safeguards put into place. So right now, new cars are exempt from smog checks for 8 years after purchase. If we had high carbon levels for a prolonged period of time, depending on the region, that could be then reduced to 7 years or to even 6 years. However, the cleaner cars are coming out each and every day, and so air quality should continue to improve. On Thursday, March 28th, I attended the Basin Transit meeting where they're actively going around and seeing some improvements. If you've seen some staff or some people out there at the bus stations and so forth, we've been doing a lot of replacement of solar panels that have been there for a long time. So they've been out there bringing those up to the latest standards and improving the lighting in each one of those. Also, I wanted to personally thank Councilmember Dennison and also County Supervisor Rao for going to bat for our small community and our transit district at their meeting, San Bernardino County Transportation Authority. $3.8 million allocated through Senate Bill 125 funds that were allocated. Those were all the funds allocated, but the city of Montclair is sort of like other larger cities down below. They have a lot of pull and clout. They thought that money could be used better for the valley down there where they're at. And because of the efforts of our county supervisor and our council member here, they went to bat for us and for our agency, and was able to secure the funding. So when you ask residents why it's so important to have people in county office that are local and know the needs of the desert here, this is proof that those funds could have easily just walked away and gone to other agencies. Because Dennison spoke up and Rao went to bat for us, we were able to secure those. So I asked our transit authority to send out a letter of thanks for doing that for us. Monday, April 1st, I was able to tour the town's public works facilities. It was hard to believe that all the years I've been on the council, I'd never been beyond the counter when I've been doing business there. So I happened to find myself behind the counter asking Alex and Shane for some direction on this bid process that we went through and some clarification. And then I mentioned that I'd never been back here before, and Shane took the time out of his busy schedule to give me a tour. It's a tired facility, I'm just going to say it that way. I was thinking about maybe sending a plant there to help spruce it up, but I'm not sure if the plant would make it very long. So, but I do really encourage our council members to really go and see behind the counter if you haven't been there, and go through those offices, and that will really galvanize how important it is to bring all the services here to a new community center building. I also was at the town office the other day, just happened to be walking through, and a gentleman came up with a concern, older gentleman, hard of hearing, can't use the phone, came in all the way to talk to somebody about some pothole issues or cracks in the pavement, and had to be told he needed to go to planning 2 miles away. So fortunately, I was there. I got all his information. I took care of it for him so he didn't have to make a second trip. But this happens over and over and over again. People know where this is. They don't know where our other departments are. So for heaven's sakes, we do need to move forward with the City Hall improvements, that's for sure. We had mentioned earlier, the gentleman talked about code enforcement. Can I ask staff, have we started working on some more flexibility for code enforcement on days of the week or days of the week and hours of operation? Are we working on a little bit of flexibility? And then the second part is, I noticed the city of 29 Palms moved forward with their grants or monies for downtown beautification of their businesses down there. And I know that's something we've discussed to bring forward somewhere in the future. It's a bummer that they beat us to the punch on that, but I just happened to see that. On code enforcement?
So the answer is yes. We're looking at contract services. We're looking at how can we work those contract services with existing hours, with modified hours. So we're evaluating a number of those, as well as code changes that we likely need to bring before the town council.
Okay, excellent, yeah. And again, I want to thank staff for really getting out there and helping with the graffiti removal. I keep track of the ones I've reported, and they are disappearing. There was a dump site on one of our businesses, behind one of our businesses. I talked to Curtis. I can't believe it's like the next day or the day after, it was completely cleaned up and looked better than ever. So thank you for staff always doing the extra work on behalf of our community and getting on these items like graffiti and illegal dumping. That's all I have, Mayor.
Councilmember Dennison.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, and thanks for your work, Councilmember Abel. I appreciate it. And it's true, a lot of the things you've said about making us more efficient, those things will come forward. But you're a bit modest. I'm thankful that you let those young kids beat you. I know that you could have taken them down. So I just want to, once again, the proclamation that was made today by the mayor for the Blue Ribbon Month, that's a very important issue. It's a true issue. And so child abuse is something we all have to be cognitive of. Make sure it's just one of those things, if you see something, say something. And if it's not true, then that's great. But it is a good idea to not just let things like that go. I want to say thanks again for Wanda. Her enthusiasm is great. Grub Stakes Days will be coming very fast, so that's nice. And our town will get, I believe, this year very busy again. So it'll keep us all going. And goodness that we have Nathan and Ryan stepping up to the plate, as Shane introduced them today at our shelter. Those of you that haven't been there to the shelter, it's quite an amazing, I think it's the best one in the entire county, if not the entire part of the state. So I'm glad they're on board, and that's fantastic. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Schooler.
Nothing to add tonight, Mayor.
Nothing? Okay. I want to welcome our new employees, Ryan and Nathan, both. We look forward to running into you and interacting with you more often there at the animal shelter, and we hope that you find your work rewarding and enjoyable. We want to always increase our family with active and helpful members, and we look forward to having you part of the Yucca Valley family. It was a pleasure to be involved in the Easter egg hunt this year. It was wet, and the kids come all decked out, and it was fun. It lasted a lot longer than usual. probably because it was a little bit less of a crowd. Usually the fields disappear, the eggs disappear within a couple of minutes, but it took a little longer this time. It was colder, it was wetter, and there were just fewer people, but staff did an awesome job of setting up inside here, and the Easter Bunny shots were so cute. The kids come and have their pictures taken with the Easter Bunny, and it doesn't seem like it was all that long ago. It was probably 30 years that I was dressed up as the Easter Bunny on quite a few occasions with the Kiwanis Club as they did the Easter egg hunt then. Fond memories, fond memories. What else? I was at the Healthy Hearts Run, got to sound the air horn to get them started, got to see our council member Abel come flying through the finish line there and hand out medals for all the participants that won. And it was a well-received and well-appreciated event by all those that participated. The staff does an awesome job of running that, and it's good to see the people using the park and enjoying a healthy event at the town, and it's, thanks to Measure Y, those things are more and more available to us. So we want to impress on the public why Measure Y is important, and funds like that help for so many things that happen in the town. What else is coming up? I think that's about it. Looking forward to seeing the project happen in Old Town. I'm glad we moved the next step closer. And that's going to be a great addition. So that's it for now for me. Upcoming meeting schedule, the next regular meeting of the Yucca Valley Town Council will be held on Tuesday, April 16th, 2024, at 6 p.m. here in the Yucca Valley Community Center, Yucca Room. And we are going to adjourn to a closed session now. We will be reporting out of closed session after, if there's any reportable action. So anybody that's interested, hang around. Do I need to close at this point, or no? We leave it open. Okay. So until next week, or next event on the 16th, thank you for attending, and we do appreciate your comments and your attendance.